It is my honor and privilege on behalf of the Planning Committee, who have worked very hard to put this together, to welcome you all to the 5th NECA Employers Summit. Thank you. When we gathered for the 4th summit, our mandate was really clear. We wanted to be really deliberate, and we had this urgent discussion about how to enable sustainable enterprise in a transitioning economy, focusing on aligning fiscal, trade, and regulatory reforms for inclusive development. And we left with a shared conviction that for economic transformation to be real, our policy architecture must intentionally protect the engine of the economy, and that the organized private sector as well as industry must play their part in driving our economy forward. And today, as you will see from the theme, we are advancing that conversation that we had last year. And this year, we anchor our deliberations on a theme that speaks directly to our immediate survival, but not just that, but for our long-term legacy and growth as well. And the theme this year is leveraging reforms and ESG for enterprise competitiveness and inclusive national growth. What does that mean? That means that we're moving from discussions, we're moving from the policies that drive the reforms that we're experiencing to real sector action and reality on the ground. So over the past year, if you're in business, you would have witnessed the sweeping macroeconomic adjustments that are aimed at correcting long-standing structural imbalances in our economy. But however, as the umbrella body for employers in Nigeria, NECA knows firsthand that policy alone on paper cannot do it, and that we need to have an alignment between the policymakers, the policies, and the industry on the ground for our survival. And while the macroeconomic indicators show early signs of stabilization, and now at least we're able to plan, our enterprises continue to fight through intense headwinds. The energy costs, the inflationary pressures, the wars around the world, the regulatory complexities, and the inadequate infrastructure that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And of course, the weak consumer demand that is directly tied to the inflation that we see and the decreasing income in households. And this 4th summit, if the 4th summit really was about aligning the frameworks, here we are going to evaluate the execution and we're going to maximize compliance to really drive growth. The question before us is no longer, what are the reforms? We know the reforms, and they're good, right? But rather, how do we leverage these reforms, ongoing reforms, alongside global sustainability frameworks to bolster our competitive edge and ensure growth that leaves no organization, no company, no one behind. And so, as we focus on the reforms and ESG and how they all come together, we must understand that ESG is not just about regulation, it's not just about management, it is a competitive advantage when done well. And of course, today, I know we're going to hear more as we launched the ESG implementation guideline developed alongside ILO. This is a practical guide, a tool that will help us to really align how to ensure that small and medium enterprises, which are the bedrock of our economy, by the way, that they are not just crushed by evolving sustainability standards, but are instead empowered to use them as a springboard for growth. So on behalf of all of us in the planning committee, the DG of NECA, and all the stakeholders, the challenge that I leave with us today as business leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders in this room is to drive our sessions, not just as words, but toward concrete, data-backed policy recommendations, action recommendations, changes and innovations that need to happen. We are here to co-create solutions that help the government fine-tune implementation, help the industry bridge the critical gaps, and lower the cost of doing business in Nigeria. True national growth is not achieved when reforms are merely gazetted. They are achieved when enterprises remain competitive, when jobs are created, and when prosperity becomes genuinely inclusive. And that is part of our theme this year, inclusive development. So let's engage candidly. Let's debate constructively. Let's challenge the status quo. And let's collaborate intensely so that the organized private sector remains fully committed to building a productive, resilient, and prosperous Nigeria. And with that, I welcome you again to the Fifth Summit to help us chart the course that we need to chart to ensure that Nigeria goes beyond where we are today. And with that, I say God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria and God bless the Nigerian industry. Thank you very much.